Sonny Melendrez, Sonny Radio, SonnyRadio.com.
Hello, it's Sonny Melendrez, and welcome to the positive side of the radio spectrum. You found it, the Sonny Melendrez Show, where every week we strive to bring you entertainment and inspiration through storytelling, fascinating guests, exclusive celebrity interviews, and it's all delivered with lots of enthusiasm. Cannot wait for you to meet my very special guest this week, Izabela Lundberg. Wow, what an incredible lady. And now, on with the show.
Sonny Radio, SonnyRadio.com.
Izabela Lundberg is the founder of the Legacy Leaders Institute and creator of the High Performance Impact Method. She's listed as an Amazon #1 international best-selling author, a globally recognized leadership coach, and as a keynote speaker, she inspires and motivates others to go beyond the gold by finding their best leadership and legacy. You might say that her superpower is working with these global leaders and organizations ready to disrupt the status quo, take a risk, and lead like a champion. And a champion leader she is. And it's been my experience that with every successful leader, there's a story that begins with an upbringing that shapes their character. It is a pleasure to welcome via Zoom my friend, Izabela Lundberg. Izabela, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Sonny.
So I want to start out with you as a little girl. Tell us what your childhood was like.
I honestly, Sonny, think was one of the most magnificent moments in life that you, when you look back, don't even realize how profound and beautiful it was. Growing up with, grandparents that spoiled me rotten, specifically my grandma that was extremely wise and spiritual, that installed such a phenomenal foundation in me because I was like a little girl in Curious George on steroids. So my parents were very busy and they didn't always have a time between me and my siblings. So my grandma was my go-to. And my dad also was very spiritual, very astute. And I always keep saying he was born in wrong time and wrong place because he was such a gentle soul, living in former Yugoslavia and very machismo culture, who absolutely loved and adored my mom. And my mom actually was the woman and the decision maker in household, even though they not maybe initially appear that way. She was a very strong and powerful woman, but also very beautiful inside out and an amazing rock. Showed me on so many instances what that strength is about. It's not about a power. It's not about a force, but that silent force that comes behind with intent of the words of what she was really building and creating in our household. So having that foundation, I found ways to escape and daydream and find my people intuitively who really would not just answer questions, say, Izabela, just because to me, there was never an answer. I'm like, because of what? Because was a million questions after that. So that curiosity is actually the one that really helped me, to mature much faster and sooner than most of my generation's friends and colleagues. Also to be prepared for everything that came later in my early teens.
And Izabela, what about the activism? When did that start?
See, that is a phenomenal question because I love who you are. I love how you use your voice, and not only in cartoons and everything you've been doing, but also on the radio. You knew how big, amazing influence and impact you have. And as a result, trajectory of your life, who you were today and who we were for hundreds and thousands of people decades ago. It's just amazing to me to see, because I always ask the same question. And to be honest, that upbringing, I was the 5-year-old girl who would love to put a big pillow on my dad's lap in the living room and have him stroke my hair and explain 5-6 hours long black or white Gandhi films.
Wow.
That was my sanctuary. That was my time with my dad. There was my 1,000,001 question to be answered. Why they're poor, why they don't have shoes, why they're going to this long pilgrimage, where they're going, who is Gandhi, why he's so important, why people worship him. I could not shut up because questions just keep pouring. But in the same time, I knew that something profound is happening. So my grandma obviously grew up Catholic, and she raised me by supporting Mother Teresa's charity. I remember first time also around that age, 4.5, 5 years old, saving a little money. I didn't know the value, but I knew that obviously it means something. And then every year she will have a deadline where we were supposed to send the money. And at the time we were supporting Mother Teresa charity. She was initially in Africa first before she came to India, and eventually she passed away in Calcutta after she helped girls there. And I followed that journey with Mother Teresa with my grandma. So every year, whatever I will do, like little chores, little birthday, whatever happens, money will be kind of kept, some of that. And grandma will always somehow magically find some extra somewhere laying there. So we'll have like this little extra money, and then she will ask grandpa to go to the bank and then send to that particular account in my name. And every Christmas, I was not overjoyed. I was overjoyed, of course, because I would be with my friends and family, my uncles, aunts, cousins. But I was especially overjoyed to go to grandpa's and grandma's house, which they had this huge, big room, and this always beautiful, most beautiful Christmas tree. And gifts are always there, but I always waited for a very special gift. And I never knew what's going to be, either a little box or extra envelopes or multiple things. And when I would wait my turn, because I was the youngest at the time and I was the smallest, my eyes will lit up, because I will get the packages from Mother Teresa charity with photo images of children in Africa that didn't have nothing. They lived in huts. They will stand in front of the huts with the mud floor with nothing. They will usually have very torn one T-shirt, dirty and oversized, or whatever might be the scenario, no shoes. But they will have the most glistening, most gratitude-filled smiles. And then letters. I could not wait for me to read the letters, but also for my grandma to read the letters. Like almost like I couldn't believe what the letters will say and how grateful they were and how much my support is going to make a difference. And this is who I supported, and the names of the kids and the names of the villages. And to me, my world grew so exponentially. And this was way before internet. And that is really where all of the philanthropy started changing everything I stood for. Giving by not expecting, caring about other parts of the world, knowing that we're all interconnected and in which ways. And that brought me in such a most profound way, Sonny, into something I never expect, which I feel like was a divinely guided, or I don't know what you want to call it. Everything I learned when I became refugee and I finally escaped to Sweden, I've landed myself in refugee camp. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing people from Africa, not just one place, but for like 50 to 60 different countries. Then I'm seeing people from Asia, from, again, 10, 15, 20 countries. Then I'm seeing different parts, even Europe. And I'm like, why they're here? What are we experiencing? And then you start really seeing that my hardship, what I'm experiencing, is not just happening to me. And I know how painful and awful it is. And then you start connecting and bonding, even if it's nonverbal communication, because language is so, so different, right? And we can't even have a common language yet. We found a way, in profound way, to connect. And it was the most fascinating experience. I always joke around, this was priceless. For everything there is MasterCard.
How beautiful. And what a symphony of love you were given in the example that you not only received from your family, but from your grandmother, to introduce you to Mother Teresa and to have that wonderful bond with the world from where you were. And so your vantage point was such a wonderful one, thanks to your upbringing. Now I want to switch gears now, and I can't tell you how much I admire what it is you do with your talents, and who you've grown up to be and continue to do, but you also have this incredible, wonderful career in the area of business, and you've helped Fortune 500 companies to succeed. Tell me about that.
That is such an interesting journey, I have to say. And you're right, everything is interconnected. Because when I escaped former Yugoslavia, I lived in 5 countries on my own. And at the time, I was about 19 years old, 18 and a half, 19 years old. So no mentor, no parents. I lost my dad, unfortunately, during the war, and a lot of close people. And then also we split up. So I was on this journey with my sister. And then every piece of that journey, I realized something profound. I realized what leadership is and what leadership it's not. I realized also what makes environment profoundly enticing, all the way before all of this crazy resignation and symptomatic issues that we're seeing right now that are being for so long ignored because we put the value on the wrong things. And I always joke around, everything we were sweeping on the rag for so long now just blew up in everybody's face. And it's hard now to deal with that. And we see dramatic measures, we see blame game, we see so many different ranges of things. But ultimately, what I'm seeing is the organizations that step and practically wants to change, which is very small percentages, we don't change unless it's excruciating, painful, we have to, which I think hopefully we will evolve so that we will be more proactive, and how much of agony, pain, stalling, and truly not growing and delaying our growth and progress, we'll be able to overcome that, right? And then I realized, just because I am ready, I have to see who else is ready for me. Because I was like, why some companies or some executives and some even very close mentors, colleagues, you name it, clients will be super gung-ho, and then the other ones will be like nodding their head, and then it's like, body language doesn't match the verbiage. What's going on here? And then I realized how much we have issues here, because sometimes we do something to do just politically correct, to check the box that we're doing what we're supposed to do. We tried and we didn't succeed, or whatever might be the case, or we really want to try and we really succeed, and great. And then the ones that also are saying they wanted to do it, but they're doing everything possible to sabotage it. It's like, you have to kind of assess how self-awareness, how you show up. And then, Sonny, what happened was the most profound moment that I also have to say, this is not my problem. Just because this is happening the way it's happening doesn't have nothing to do with me. And it's a trap. It's a trap that, unless you're so aware of, and so many people still fall for it, can really guilt you and can really put you in a really challenging situation. So what I realized is I need to meet more people, or people that are truly ready, not just for me, but they're fully ready to embrace and face the fear. Because in order to be great or get to greatness of not only your individual potential, but as an organization, and to unfold the most amazing, profound leadership and ultimately legacy. And the reason I'm sharing this, Sonny, was also opportunity to see not only what doesn't work and why it doesn't work, but also to really know with such 100% conviction, I know what does. How much more time do you want to waste? How much more you want to tolerate what you're tolerating right now? How painful would you like this to get?
Izabela, I know that there's maybe several people listening who feel like they're not in a position to make that change. They're maybe in a company, in a corporate situation where they know that that's necessary. What can they do as individuals?
That is such a profound question. If we wait for organization internally, for our leaders or different departments to get ready, we'll die. We'll never anything of that happen. We can't wait. We can't wait. Simply we can't. But what we can do is show up as the best version of leaders ourselves, and then demonstrate and lead the way and see what's possible. And then start building internal groups of colleagues that are supporting, that are seeing, that are liking it, that they want, and then you start creating the buzz. And that's really how I start getting clients too, and how I start creating different opportunities, definitely way before COVID. And then now we're really revisiting all of that, because we can't point the finger anymore, right? Everything starts with us. Everything starts and ends with me. Why can I do this? Or why not? Sometimes inviting people to lean in and to see, I know we don't typically do this way, but look at what I figured it out. This might actually be very useful to you. Would you like me to show you more? And then all of a sudden you are starting to getting people that are realizing, oh my God, this is not as threatening. This is not as challenging and difficult. And by the way, actually this increased my collaboration and trust with my peers and my performance. And at the same time, I'm really having a good time. When you start seeing benefits, and when they start demonstrating, as you know, by anybody who doesn't know more than you, how enthusiasm is infectious.
Amen. Amen. Now, you have a solution or an alternative to the Great Resignation. Tell me about that.
That is painfully awareness for so many companies. And even when you give them the blueprint, they will still not want to do it because they don't want to do it. But the ones that truly are actually listening and want to do it, everybody's thinking, what can I do quicker so that appears, as my mom would say, this is not how you clean your room, just appears on the surface that it's clean. I want to see everything clean. So I was like, Mom, but then you look at it as like, she was right. Just quickly polishing things on surface by changing something fast doesn't give you infrastructure and stable change that the organizations need to invest in and do. It requires not just quick restructuring, as my mom would call it, reshuffling things from left to the right and changing their order. I was like, wow, that was the fundamentals, what I've been seeing in organizational design and organizational cultures, regardless how small or how large Fortune 500 company might be. And it's like, is it necessary? And it boils down to it. Everybody's focusing on that quick fix for most part, which is that reshuffling and looking what they can just quickly restructure. But in reality, that structure doesn't work to begin with. So you restructure and shuffling and wasting time and energy and expecting magic to miracle to happen. It's not going to happen. You need to reinvent.
Great advice. Great advice. Well, I have time for one more question, and maybe the most important one. What advice would you have to someone who is a leader, whether they are a leader of one or a leader of many, in inspiring their team each day? What would you say to them?
You can't inspire anyone if you're not inspired yourself. You absolutely cannot do that. You have to know what inspires you, and you have to nurture that within you, and you have to consistently shop with that every single day. I've been known that I don't even need a mic in a large room because, Izabela, you're loud and it's your voice carries. I'm like, fantastic. I've been known that I laugh full-heartedly, and that's me and fantastic. Some may love it, some may hate it, but they know it's consistently me. They know, and that joke has been around for a while, actually. She doesn't need a coffee. She wakes up like this and she goes to bed like this. All the time because I've been asked, what are you on? And I'm like, it took me a second. I'm like, do you think what I'm wearing, meaning that thinking maybe perfume or something else? Like, what are you asking? I'm like, what do you mean what I am on? And it's like, could you elaborate more? I'm like, I don't use anything. I don't need outside of me. And there was a big shocker. I don't go through these withdrawals. I stopped drinking coffee, or I stopped doing this. The reason I'm saying this, if we start making excuses within ourselves, yes, all of those will be true. But also if you say, oh my God, none of this matters because what I am and who I am within myself, I already self-discover. I already know I'm extremely comfortable with it. And I'm willing to show up fearlessly and step in and lead every day by showing the way. That's the only way. Not occasionally, not when it's convenient, not when it's the topic that you have a self-serving interest in, not because you feel like you can gain something, or in times of vulnerability, you can quickly turn some things around, or whatever might be the case. That's not leadership. That's manipulation. So how to lead? I really wanted to say we need to scratch everything we've been learning for decades and decades what leadership is. And I joke around, and I'm sorry, this is not meant to insult Sonny by any means. I always said, whoever had this early definition about leadership, it has to be men. Because it was synonymous to put leadership and the title, because served the purpose. And who usually had a title? 99% men. And what that meant is like, just because I have a title and position, I must be a leader. And whatever I say, this is how it should be. So you don't question, even though things don't make sense. So you're not ever, pushing the envelope or asking. You're just doing what you're being told, but which is micromanagement in a larger scale, packaged with traits of leadership because of the power and position. And I really want to urge.
Amen.
Everyone listening, leadership is not a title. It's not a status. It's not a prestige. It's not a fun thing to do. It's not one of the shiny objects that you want to throw on your resume or on the LinkedIn or when you're networking. It's not something going to give you more power. It's not something you're going to be remembered by because look at me, I'm amazing. It's based what people see. Base people how they validate you, how much they trust you, how much they see, how much value creating to them and everybody else around you. You just need to start asking right questions. How do you show up? What are you lacking? What are you missing? What can I do to change that? How can I get better? And how can I be authentically consistent when I can't even understand who am I? How can I self-discover more?
My goodness. Izabela Lundberg, you have given us so much to think about and so much to give about. And I think that you were placed here for a very good reason. You are certainly living an excellent and a Mother Teresa will be proud of you as your grandmother as well, and your parents and your family. I cannot tell you how much I admire what it is that you're doing, but also look forward to many more conversations in the future. We're going to have links to your website, your book, and other ways to connect with you. And is there any one last thing you'd like to say as far as, this idea of the fact that we are the answer? It's a question of how it is we come together.
I love that question. And yes, you can find me on LinkedIn, most trusted platform. Feel free to directly connect and message me. And of course, as you mentioned, my website. But beside that, I serve and specific on that platform. Reason why? Because I put myself in everything I'm telling you, I am doing already. I already been doing this for years. So what I'm trying to say here is the following. Make up your mind who you want to be and go for it. You're more equipped to be that than you can recognize yourself. If you're not in a supportive environment, change it, adjust it. Don't play small. You're here to play bigger game and show the world what the game is all about.
Wow. Izabela, thank you so much and much success to you in the future, my friend.
Thank you so much. It was absolute honor and pleasure. And thank you, Sonny, for having me on your wonderful show.
Well, that's my visit with Izabela Lundberg. You'll find links to all of her social media sites, including LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more by visiting sunnyradio.com/show. That's sunnyradio.com/show. Until next time, I'm Sonny Melendrez, and I leave you with these words from Izabela. There is nothing like the opportunity to reinvent yourself now. Bye-bye.